So let's figure out what's going on here. I'm going to show you again what the experience is. If we refresh here, we're on a 6x slowdown, so we're simulating a slow device. If we do no throttling, we won't notice this performance problem as much, but it actually, you still might notice it a little bit. But we'll stay with this 6x slowdown. I'm going to select an item. We'll just choose really any item, it doesn't matter, just so that we have some input value in here. And then I'm going to hit record. We'll hit force re-render and then stop. And we get this giant monster of a task that happens when we click. And we can see right here, it took 394 milliseconds. Now again, this is on the 6x slowdown, but that is not great. And so what's happening here is we have an app update. And if we look here, we've got a menu update. So most of this time is being spent in the app. So if we scroll down here, we're going to see our app is right there. And then we see this get items. And that's actually what we're going to try and do is we're going to see if there's one function in particular that is just really wide by itself, or if it has a whole bunch of little children like this, then it's very possible you've got something that's iterating over many items. And that's exactly what's going on here. So we have this match sorter that's taking forever, and we can click on that one. It's going to show us that it's taking 24 milliseconds by itself, but 286 milliseconds for its children. So it's calling into other functions, and maybe it's just iterating over something, calling into those functions for every item. And that's actually what's happening for us. And there are a bunch of other views that you can look at and explore, and it's a lot of fun. Feel free to explore and take some time to learn about this tool. But I'm going to take you straight to where the problem is. We have this get items function that is being called by our app. And so here we know where this app is. It's in our own code. So we can come down here to the app. And there's that get items function, okay? And if we dive into that get items function, then we'll see we have match sorter right here. And that is a third-party dependency. And my goodness, is it slow. Boy, I wish the maintainer would speed it up. I'm the maintainer. If you want to help me speed it up, that'd be great. But really what's actually happening here is we have this JSON file of US cities, and it is quite large. So if I go to uscities.json, yes, this is an enormous file. Lots and lots of items, like 16,000 US cities in here. And so that's probably why this get items is taking so long. We're passing 16,000 items to match sorter to match our filter, our input here against. And the thing is that when we click force re-render, we actually don't need to recalculate what items are in the list as a result of our input, because it will be the same items that we got the last time we searched for this Edna input. And so that is the thing that we're optimizing here with use memo, is we're saying if I didn't change anything on my inputs, then my outputs won't change because this is a pure function. So therefore, I don't need to worry about calling into this function again. And so that is what we're going to be doing here with this use memo change. So we're going to say React use memo, and we're going to pass it a function. And by passing it a function, we're saying, hey, this is the thing that I want to have happen, but I don't necessarily want it to happen every single render, every single time this function's called. I really only want it to happen when the input value changes. Because when the input value changes, then I know that the return value of get items could possibly be different. And so then I need to make sure that I go and recalculate that value for this all items right here. But if the input value doesn't change, then we're telling React to just go ahead and send me back the same thing that I gave you the last time that the input value was whatever it was. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we'll get a refresh here. I'm going to select Edna again, and then we'll redo this. So we'll hit record. I'll come up here, click force re-render, and I don't know about you, but that button clicked a lot faster, and here we are. We still have this red line, and we'll talk about that later, in part because of this 6x slowdown, but it is way faster than it was before. Before it was like 300 something milliseconds. Now it's 54, just so much faster. And if we scroll down here, I don't know, I can't even find that app. Is it, no, we've got anonymous there. It's going to be in here. Oh, there it is. There's the app. Yeah, so we're not even, we see the app there, but we're not even seeing this get items function call. So we've seriously sped up this app re-rendering, and it could re-render for lots of different reasons. If it's managing other elements of state, it doesn't have to have a force re-render button. That's a little bit contrived, but the idea is that if this input value doesn't change, then we have no reason to recalculate the value that we're going to get back from getItems because it's a pure function. It should always return the same output for that same input. And by doing that, we've saved our users a janky experience when we're re-rendering for any other reason than the fact that our input value changed. So in review, all that we did here was we pulled up our performance tab in Chrome DevTools. We identified some experience that was kind of janky. We recorded a profile here so we could get an idea of what's going on in our code that may be triggering that slow experience. And then we went into our code and optimized it using useMemo so that we can make that experience much faster. And it is. We're super happy about this.